it was a normal day. I had no idea what was in store for me. So I went home. My friend came by and he was like checking out the car. I'm like, he wanted to go out and let's go to the casino. I'm like, okay, yeah. So we go to the casino. We're partying, and I've been on a good one for a while. Anyways, we go to the casino. We hit 2 jackpots, and my buddy, I remember he told me that he was like, "You're the luckiest dude in the world," and I was like, "I know, man." I was. It was just a good time. I was thinking, out of nowhere, I feel like someone hit me right in the chest with a sword, and I'm like, bam, and I'm like, oh shit, and it doubled me over. The person I'm with thought I was playing around, and they're trying to, like, quit playing around. I'm like, I'm serious, man, something's wrong, and it was crippling me over. I'm like, oh shit. And it was weird. It felt like someone hit me right in the chest with a sword and started pulling down, right? So I'm like, I threw her off me. I'm like, I gotta get to the hospital, and I take off running down this hall, and I'm like looking for my friend, and he was moving my car at the time, but I caught him, and I'm like, Nick, you gotta get me to the hospital, and he's all like, what's going on? And I'm like, something's wrong, and the front desk of the hotel, they're like, is something wrong? We're gonna call 911, and they're all trying to hold me down, saying they're gonna call 911 and stuff, and I'm like, F 911, get me to the goddamn hospital, dude. And I threw and I grabbed him by his shirt. I pulled him. I said, give me the hospital, And he was like, okay. And so we jump in the car. We haul ass. And I don't. All I remember is driving extremely fast and running lights because I was screaming, I'm fucking dying. So we get to the hospital and we pull right up to the ER. And I remember the car, we power slide because she's like, we were hauling ass. And I went to get out and my legs didn't work anymore. After I could talk again, because after I came out of the coma, I had about 2 weeks that I had this trach, so I couldn't talk to nobody. All the memories came flooded back to me. I knew that I was crossing over. I was leaving my body. I could feel my energy leaving my body. I can't explain it. It's a weird feeling. I was crossing over into like dimensions. Another I can't even put this into words because it's so hard. All of a sudden, everything went black on me, and I'm like, I'm dead. And I remember thinking, where the hell am I? Am I alive or dead? I thought I'm dead, and everything was black, and it was so freaking cold. Everything was so cold, and I don't know why I said I see Satan. I don't remember seeing Satan at all. I don't. But I knew that I was not in a good place. I was in a dark void. Oh, and here's something really important too. There was this magnetic, like black tar that I could see everywhere, and it was dripping. I could hear it splatting, like going. And I was like, what the hell? And there was this dark, there was an energy there that was so strong of a negative freaking energy that it's like, imagine all the G-force like when you get in a roller coaster and you hit that dip. The fear I felt there was horrific, okay? Because like I said, I wasn't on the bed anymore. I was like, I went from being horizontal to vertical feeling, okay? Like, and I don't know if I was like standing or floating, I don't know, but I just knew where I was at, and I had to get out of there. Okay, that's all I could think was, holy crap, I got to get out of here. And I was terrified. And oh yeah, when I was calling for my dad, he didn't come. I never saw my dad. My grandmother and my father and anybody that's passed, I didn't see any friends, okay, that I had here on earth. I didn't see anybody like that. But at that moment, when I was in that negative thing, the only thing I could think was, I just said, Jesus, save me. And I remembered once, I can remember that now, screaming, Jesus, save me. Mm-hmm. And right then, this spark popped up in the middle of my eye, like right here. And it was like someone lit a piece of paper, like if you lit tissue on, like tissue paper with a lighter, that's how it just went. everything I could see, and I was engulfed in this white light, this white presence, energy that just pushed all that darkness out. And I was surrounded by this light, and my gosh, I felt like I peed my pants. This warmth came over my entire soul, and I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm safe. I didn't know where I was at, but I knew I was safe. I made it. That's what I was thinking. I made it. Oh my God, thank you God, thank you, I made it. I made it, right? And I was like, and I remember like thinking, just kind of like looking around like in awe. And as I looked into the light, there was really depth to this light, if you can imagine what I'm trying to say. As I looked into it, I could see deep. And in the light, where all of a sudden I could see these other lights that were morphing. They were like moving around, and I was like, what is that? And there was these colors that were oh my God, they were the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. They were the most beautiful colors that I've ever seen in my life, and I can't tell you what they look like. I can't even describe the colors because they're not in the rainbow spectrum, but they're colors. Our eyes can only see, the rainbow. I don't know if they were ultraviolet in that spectrum or ultra red. I don't know what spectrum, but all I know is there was a multitude of them, and they were beautiful. And I remember there was metallic colors. And as I looked at these colors, I realized those are souls. Those are people. It had faces, and oh my God, they were so beautiful. And I've never seen beauty to this degree. And everybody was different. Every color was a different person, and some people had there was multiple colors in them, but they were so beautiful, and they had faces, and I didn't recognize anybody. I knew every person there, and I was just like, oh my God, my people, I'm here. And they were like glad to see me too. I was like, but there was no words being exchanged. There was no words, but I knew exactly. And think about this too: if in the afterlife, in heaven, if it gets rid of wickedness, well, what is one of the most wicked things? Our tongue is full of deceit. You can lie, you can cheat, you can be something, but in this realm, there was no communication like that, so you could only be authentic. That was it. Every being there had its own beauty there, and right then, that's when I realized that it was for the beauty that God, our Creator, intended us to have. That the world, the world lies to you and tells us that we dilute, that we neglect, and we don't realize, because we are in this three-dimensional physical world, and we think our outer looks, and we don't even allow people to grow old gracefully. People are like, oh, they're just old, whatever. Let me tell you, we all go through it. No one's going to get around it. But that beauty on the inside, that light, the light that's behind every smile, and I don't care how ugly you are, if you smile, there's a light. So, and I'm real happy where I'm at, okay? I'm really cool with where I'm at, and I'm cool with staying up there. But at that time, then all of a sudden, this white light being, and it wasn't a shadow figure with a white light around it. No, this was like another whiter light that came out from the depths of it, and it was really tall. I'm 6'5", and it stood like higher than me, so I was looking up at it like this. And I don't remember any face. I don't know if that was Jesus. I don't know if it was an angel. I don't know if it was just a silhouette of a human figure, but it was all light. It had the presence of unconditional love. That's the best way I can say it. I don't know if it's female or male, or masculine or female. That wasn't even going through my head. I just was like, But as soon as I looked up at it, my son's life, my life, but my son's life went by like this without me. I wanted to be a father for so long, and I told you I raised those 3 stepkids too, and I love them with all my heart. And to be able to have somebody call me dad is like the best sound in my ears. It's the most beautiful sound of my ears. Like, go, Dad. Now my other kids never call me Dad. They call me D. For I was their stepdad, and they love me, but just that sound. So, anyways, when I looked up to him, it was like his life, and with that, or mine. It wouldn't have been mine, but I guess I just saw that go past me like this so quick, and I remember it snapped me back in reality, and I was like, "Don't take me yet. No, please don't. Not yet. I don't. Not yet." And I woke up, and boom, I was there. Here's one thing I think about when I think about God. God timing, okay? God's impeccable timing. Father time, God. When I went to the hospital, and every doctor would come in and be like, "You do know you're a miracle, right?" Like, just for me to be able to get from the hotel to there, if I would have let them call an ambulance, I'd be dead. That doctor just happened to be there that day, and he just scrubbed out, like I told you. He was getting ready to go home, and I showed up, and he scrubbed back in and did an 11-hour surgery. Or after I came out of the coma, and like the chief surgeon would come in there, and they're like, everybody, the nurses, the ICU, they took care of me. Everybody was just like, I was like amazed. They were just all freaked out because I pulled through it. That was one thing. None of them actually thought I was going to, because it was so bad. And even to be like talking like this is like a total. And I had doctors from other hospitals coming to see me to see this, like, because I shouldn't be alive. This wasn't like, there's other people that survived aorta dissections, but one like this is so unlikely. It's not even funny. It's crazy. Okay, so so the chief surgeon came down, and he told me personally. He said, "I want to tell you, it was like he had divine intervention." That's what he said. He said I never seen an operation so orchestrated so beautifully. And he goes, and I know you probably wouldn't understand what I'm trying to say, but the way this man, he goes, it was like he had divine help. That's what a surgeon told me, the chief surgeon. Surgeons don't talk like that. They're very egotistical people. They're usually like, they get a God complex because they save lives every day. So, and then when I went to do a follow-up with my chief, with the guy that did the surgery on me, I remember my first time I saw him, and after I got out of the hospital, and he came in, and I was like, the man with the magic hands. Whoa, hey, buddy. He goes, don't be thinking me. You need to be thinking the guy upstairs, because I don't know how we're talking right now. So those are the things of God's timing, just everything. Like, me having to be that close to the hospital, that doctor was right there. Everything kind of played into it the way it should. Everything so many things had to fall in exact line for me to be alive.